I think one of the problems with the group chats is you kind of drift in and out of it and it all becomes a little bit vague, whereas actually talking while you're making, it almost makes the philosophy of why we're doing all of this much more embedded into making in the practice, rather than it being something very separate where we're making and then we're going to have a talk about it on another day. So I think trying to do it whilst we're in the process of learning new skills and altering clothes is a much stronger way of making the project more influential.
Sharing with the group and getting feedback from other people is great, and you get your little moment to say a little bit about yourself. Some people find it a bit scary, but I think actually within the group of people that we are, it feels quite comfortable just to talk about projects you've done and the journey that you've been on. So it's part of, I suppose, getting to know people within the group more as well, and you get to know some of the different characters. You get to learn who's more outgoing and more chatty and less chatty. There's that sharing of ideas that can then take you in a new direction. So I think there's a lot of value in those kind of group chat sessions. But I think you probably get more ideas and more idea development in the more informal, smaller group chats, because that's more of a to and fro, bouncing ideas, and it's more of a conversation. So you add in and the conversation and the thoughts kind of travel and develop. There is, I think, value in that group sharing as well. It is your sort of moment in the sun, maybe, just to kind of go, look, I did actually do this. But I think in terms of actually developing ideas, then the smaller, informal chatting as you're working perhaps takes things a bit further.
When you're creative at home, you haven't got anybody to really discuss things with. So to be in a group and hearing what challenges they have, how they overcome challenges in their craft work has been really useful. I think I should probably value these conversations later on when I'm doing something. I think, oh yes.
I find that with long, large discussions, I'd probably need to take notes if I was going to be trying to retain the information, because it would go out my head. Because it's not so easy to interact. By the time you think about something to do when it's your turn to speak, the thoughts disappeared. That's what I find sometimes with the big chats. I do find smaller groups and one-to-ones a lot easier to deal with personally, because that's my preferred environment of, I suppose, being or interacting with other people. I do find that a lot easier.
It's fascinating listening to people reflect about the stuff they've done, all the things they've learned. I think that's one of the most important things, is lots of little bits of knowledge you pick up in between the main sessions, which fill in little gaps for you. Whether it's just information about places, information about people, or information about techniques or whatever. That's really what makes it come to life, I think. It's not just a formal, structured learning opportunity, it's a workshop, which means that you get involved with people from every angle. When you're talking to somebody that you're working with, those conversations can be much more intimate, can be about what you do, or can be about something totally different. But they tend to be a lot more personal, and I think you reflect personally much more on intimate discussions than you do in a group discussion. I think there's probably a little bit more of you in it in many ways, because you find out things that people either want or need or want to share or whatever, and they become shared experiences.